Hi, it's Kauakea, and we're here to study the asteroid cards today. So here is Chiron. Chiron is an asteroid that is God as a wounded healer, both the healed healer and the wounded healer. And Chiron is an asteroid that sits between the planet Saturn and the planet Uranus. And it's the rainbow bridge to help us to heal and to really manifest our high consciousness into physical matter. Saturn is all about manifestation and Uranus is about awakening consciousness. So with Chiron, if we accept our wounds and we begin our healing process consciously, we can find the key to unlock unconscious pain and separation through our healing awareness. And this does take an admission of where we have wounds and where we hurt and where this pain is, and being able to investigate that and look at that. Chiron was a centaur who had an arrow that was shot into his butt, and he was trying to heal himself. So this is very much about how can we heal ourselves through our own awareness, and whatever sign Chiron is in your chart is the key to unlocking that healing. So unconscious expressions is ignorance, victimization, and blame focused on externalized sources, which perpetuate pain and disconnection. And Chiron is a very beautiful energy to work with. There's many good books out on Chiron. Martin Lass is one of my favorite authors with his book, Healing Body, Mind, and Soul. Barbara Hand-Clow. I highly recommend doing work with Chiron to help awaken your consciousness and heal from past pains. Here is Vesta. She is the goddess of the hearth fire, and I've named my mystery school after Vesta. Vesta is in a predominant position in my natal astrology chart, conjoined exactly with my north node in Libra. And so Vesta is this sister energy. It's a temple priestess. It's about really maintaining the sacred fire, not letting this fire go out. And in Roman times, there were Vestal virgins, and even before that in Greece, that would help heal the soldiers when they would return from war before they were sent back to their families. Consciously, Vesta is about being whole and complete unto oneself, having spiritual focus and devotion to one's calling, and about sacred sexuality. The phase, because this is a goddess energy, is around the elder, the crone as a woman, or the sister, because the Vestal virgins, they all were holy temple priestesses who were there in service. So you can see the two signs of the zodiac that Vesta rules are Virgo, which is about this purity and service, and Scorpio, which is about the depth and the authenticity it takes to be with one another in very powerful ways. Unconsciously, Vesta is about repression of our sexuality, fears of intimacy, workaholic tendencies, and an over-identification with purity. So we embrace Vesta in all of her ways that she would like us to honor our wholeness and our spiritual focus and devotion to our life's calling, to our work that we're here to do. Pallas Athena, she's the goddess as the warrior queen. And Pallas is about wisdom and creative intelligence. Pallas Athena was born in full armor out of the head of her father Zeus, and this is an energy that's very equal to men. It's highly intelligent, it's resourceful, it's accomplished in seeing the world. So the phase of life is daughter or the maiden, and this is about developing this inner wisdom and knowing, as in the feminine sense, what our creative intelligence is, whether we're a man or a woman, that is beyond just knowledge. This is about gnosis and understanding of life and being in powerful ways with our wisdom. Unconscious expressions are being afraid of our success, or unable to find a career, or not being able to trust one's own perceptions. So depending on Pallas's position in your chart, there may be issues around these things. And to know how to use this warrior queen energy without having the ego involved, but just understanding how to use this wisdom and creative intelligence for service to others and to the world. Here we have Juno. She is the goddess of meaningful partnership, or partnerships. And Juno is this divine relationship of commitment. And it's about sharing union with a partner, being supportive, faithful, refined, completing the self with another. So it's also rules Libra, which is about relationship, and Scorpio, which is about intimacy. The phase of life, the matron or the wife. Unconsciously, Juno can express itself through love addictions, codependencies, unable to commit, with struggles, being locked in old archetypes of marriage, or disappointment over broken unions. So there we have Juno, and now we're moving to Ceres, goddess as the great mother. And Ceres was the goddess of agriculture, and during different times when there were famine, there were aspects where Ceres was, I guess you'd say, a detriment. So there is a conscious expression of Ceres which has to do with the urge to nurture and be nurtured. It's about unconditional love and nourishment through growing and preparing food. And the phase of life has to do with mothering. So if we look in the chart to see where is our Ceres, that can be ways that we ourselves get nourished and how we can also be nourishing others. Unconscious expression of Ceres has to do with our lack of nurturing of food and our inability to nurture ourselves and others. So those are 4 asteroid goddesses along with Chiron. I'll also go into the nodes here because these are points in space on either side of the moon, the north and south access points that are about the past and the future. The south node is a familiar knowing from the past, which indicates how we can respond and interact in our daily life. It's a gift, and it's a resource of knowledge that we can draw on from the past, but it's also very familiar, and it's our go-to. It's like, well, it's always worked. This is where I'm most comfortable. I'll continue to do my south node. Opposite of the south node is the north node, and it's the future direction, which helps us break free from the south node's habitual patterns. So here, okay, there's the south node. Sorry, I was showing the north node earlier, the future. So the north node here is representing direction towards future growth, a new energy to embrace and to learn in order to grow into who we are and who we are to become in this lifetime. And so there is spiritual growth, and it's never that easy to learn the north node. The older we get, we do explore it and get more familiar through sometimes crisis and other things that happen in life that push us towards more understanding of this newer energy that we're unfamiliar with. Jan Spiller has an excellent book called Astrology for the Soul, and that is the best book I know of to understand one's north node and to understand how to free oneself from the habitual patterns of the south node.